Steve Ruiz, welcome to Future Frontend Finland. How did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was great. Met a bunch of people, great food, great weather, surprisingly. So, yeah, it was good times.
Yeah, we were surprised too, actually, about the weather bit. So you are the maker of tldraw, the very good whiteboard, but you were here talking about your AI experiments with tldraw. Would you like to give us just a quick soundbite?
Yeah, so we make a canvas, like a SDK for doing infinite canvas, zoom in, zoom out, etc. And yeah, a couple of months ago, we started plugging it into some of the new AI models, using the canvas as a prompt or having the AI like basically make things on the canvas. And wow, that turned out to be like really interesting. And so Make Real was the kind of viral project where you could draw a user interface or diagram and give that to OpenAI's GPT-4 with Vision and get back a working prototype based on what you drew. And then we put that website back on the canvas. You could annotate and edit it and say, like, actually make this button red, or like, no, the behavior is wrong, use this behavior instead. And then use that as the new prompt back to the LLM and get back a new website that incorporates your changes. And people went kind of nuts over this, and folks were building all sorts of really like fantastic homemade, like no code, just drawing, just imagery, basically, in order to generate these websites and these games and demos. And we're still figuring out kind of like what you can do with it. I'm still love playing with it, and it just gets better and better as the models get better. So that's the story that I shared, and a little bit about our yeah, like where we were when that happened and the kind of the consequences of that. And also where else it's led us as a team and as increasingly as a social media presence.
Yeah, I mean, like you're explaining this with words and hand gestures, but I think the way that you really share this to the world is through your Twitter. So where can people find you, and where can they follow along all these crazy experiments you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. We have a surprisingly big social media following for what is essentially a JavaScript library. You can follow us on Twitter or X at, I guess now it's x.com/tldraw. That's TLDRAW. If you want to play with Make Real, it's a demo. You have to bring your own API key, so figure out how to do that. But it is at makereal.tldraw.com. Tldraw.com itself is like a free whiteboard. It's kind of a demo also, but more of a glorified demo. Free collaboration. There's no login, zero friction. It's actually pretty fun. And if you want to build with tldraw with the SDK, you can find us on GitHub, github.com/tldraw/tldraw, or we have our docs site at tldraw.dev.
Yeah, that's a lot of URLs to remember, but people just Google tldraw and you'll find
it.
it.
You'll get it. Yeah.
Nice. So, while you were here, did you see any other sort of talks that inspired you? Any other topics or themes that were sort of gonna linger with you?
Yeah, we just saw the TC39 group talk about some of the new things that are in the pipe, including the signals technology. Really excited about that, just because that's something that we had to develop ourselves. So we're definitely within that thesis of people are essentially recreating the same technology in different ways to solve the same problem. So it would be great if that wasn't our problem anymore, if that was just JavaScript's problem. But yeah, super smart people working on a really hard problem, so I'm into it.
Nice. So, this is the future front end. So now we're going to go back for a year, do some work, and hopefully be back here next year. What do you hope to see in like the industry in general over the next year? Like, what are we going to be sort of like learning from next year's sort of?
That's a really good question. I think probably if I could have any influence on the community, I would say that basically I'm just trying to be the change with regard to the social media content that I like to see. I love to see people's in-progress work and stuff like that. So that's what we share. Turns out it works really well. So if you're building something, no matter what size it is, sharing all that in-progress work is massively helpful. But in terms of the tech, I think probably the most exciting thing that I know is on the horizon has to do with like some of the models that can work very quickly but also interrupt themselves. kind of be continuously being prompted by images or videos, or in our case, potentially like someone working on a canvas. Kind of the holy grail of collaboration AI tech is always the virtual collaborator. Having a cursor being driven by a language model or a different model, and able to kind of work with you on the canvas in one way or another. And yeah, I'll just leave this video as a little bit of a snapshot of a moment where I'm looking forward to working on that. We'll see next year if I actually had the chance to do so. It could be pretty fun.
Nice, amazing. Well, thank you. That's all we need. So thank you very much,
Thanks
Steve.
Again.